Good morning, my darlings. It's Dean. Welcome back to another video. This is going to be a two-part video. The first part is going to be on some items that I'm going to be, well, they're actually already unboxed, but some items that I'm going to show you from the RealReal. And the second part is going to be kind of like some seller's tips for the RealReal. For those of you that don't know, I sell to the RealReal items that I've thrifted from the bins, sometimes from the thrift stores, but for the most part from the bins, and I'll explain that to you and why that is on the second part of the video. So for those of you that don't care about luxury, don't want to buy luxury, not interested in it, this first part is not for you. Just go ahead and skip to the second part. But for those of you who love the good goods, let's go. So you guys saw this on the gram. I'm gonna do it in two ways. So the Givenchy Antigona, that is my bag of, I don't want to say the season. I get into these situations where I find a bag and I buy it in like 3 different colors. This bag is no different. So the Givenchy Antigona has been on my list for probably 4 or 5 years. It's been out for about a decade. I'm still in the market for a black one. I don't know why I'm spending my money buying the other colors, but again, I have this obsessive personality. So the first one that I purchased, I will leave a video up here somewhere. This is the Python Antigona that I got couple months ago, 2 months ago. And so I got this in the final sale, the real final sale. And we're gonna talk about that, what the final sale is. At the end of each season, I don't know their sales calendar, so I'm not gonna act like I do, but they tend to go like 20, 30, 40, 50, and then 70. And so when it gets to 70, that's when you snatch it up, and that's when I got this one. So this one is not the new one. Just want to show you for context. So got that one a couple months ago. I go through the RealReal on the app, and I use the app. Let me say that I use the app, and I just like all the different bags that I am interested in. So I saw that this bag had entered final sale, and I snapped it up for $500. This is a pale pink. I actually did the unboxing on my Instagram channel at @IamDionDean. And so I got this because I didn't have anything in this colorway. I live in South Florida, and so our fall is like 70-ish degrees. But that being said, when I put on my camel coats, my khaki colored winter coats for when I go to Chicago and when I go to DC or New York, I need something winter white-ish. And so that's why this was on my list. Now, the reason why I love the Antigona, oh, let me show this. So let me show you a little reason why it probably went down in price. It does have, looks like some color transfer or some rubbing. And so when they get down to $500, there's usually a reason, usually the color, or it has a little bit of wear. I looked all over the bag, and the only thing that I saw were these little markings here that they highlighted on the site. It doesn't have any feet, and so feet are like on my end. Does my Antigona? Not my Antigona. My Prada Sofriana bags. I don't remember if they have the little feet, but I like when it has little feet, because when you're sitting down brunch, I'm a bruncher, okay? When you're sitting down and you have your bag on the table for an Instagram moment, you don't want it to get wet. You don't want any mimosa on the bottom. Yes, I said that, mimosa. We drinks down here, okay? And so you don't want any mimosa on the bottom. You don't want any orange juice on there. So I prefer that it has a little feet, but it has, you know, it's not, no, I prefer the feet. One of the things that I love about this bag more than any of the other bags that are on the market, just the hardware and how hard wearing they are. Every time I would look at this bag when I went to Saks or Neiman's, I would always just play with the hardware, because they're just, you know, and I said this on Instagram, I'm very, very tough on my bags. I can't do a flimsy bag. I can't do a bag that can't be roughed up on, and because, you know, Riley is not, when she wants mommy to, mommy. If she has something in her bag, she's gonna be all in it and knocking on it. And I needed to be able to wipe it off and so on and so forth. So it has all my stuff on the inside. You guys don't need to see the inside, but this is the first purchase that I want to show you. Say all that to say, if you're interested in the Antigona as a mom bag, these are the 2 that I currently have, but I will be buying another one because I still want a black and I still want a gray. So at $500 though, the bag originally is about $2,500. You can go to the Givenchy store, you can go to Neiman's, you can go to Saks, and they still are carrying these bags. They have the new one that came out last year. or the year before. Last year's a blur, guys, so it could have been last year, but I think it was 2019. It's like the softer Antigona. But I don't think I'm gonna be, who knows? Let me not make any promises. So the next purchase that I want to show you are my Dior flats. And I have wanted these. I wanted them when they got in the store, when they first arrived in the store. The Dior flats. And I want to say they're $9.95 in the store. I would have paid $9.95 if I had to, but I was like, somebody got to release them to the RealReal. Somebody has got to release them, and they did. When I tell you I was on the RealReal like every other day, waiting for someone to release these. They have I'm gonna show them first. These are them, and then of course they have the Dior Star, the Dior Star that guided Christian Dior in his work. So I'm gonna show you, and then tell you why I was so enamored with this pump and wanted this pump. This flat, or the shoe. Let me say that. So it has Dior, and Dior is Maria Grazia Chiuri. She's the new creative director, the first female creative director of the brand, and I really have been wanting to collect pieces from her. Of course, as a plus size woman, I'm not able to wear the ready to wear. The bags, full price in store, are in the 3,000s, and so I will part with $1,000, $1,500 to get a bag from her reign. Let's pray that she stays there long enough, because Raf Simons, I think, was there for like 4 or 5 years. Anyway, as the first female creative director, I just like what she's doing for the brand, and so I wanted something from her tenure there. I like this because I am really not a French dresser. By French dresser, meaning I'm not a Chanel, Dior, Saint Laurent, that type. Well, Saint Laurent, I'm a little vulgar. But the French ideal, I'm more Milanese, I would say. I like the Italian brands. I like, Versace and Fendi, Versace, Fendi, and Gucci, and like those really elaborate brands. This is a little delicate for me, but I do have items in my closet that are more delicate, and there are some events that I go to that are a little more delicate, so I wanted Dior in my closet. So those were the 2 reasons why I got this shoe. Of course, you have kind of like the gros grain. I said it was gros grain, but now, and I've looked at the shoe so many times, I don't know what to call it. It's not, I guess it is a type of gros grain, but it feels almost like a type of netting. And so it did still have this thingy in there. I'm not going to take it out until I wear it, because let me show you. So it did have this thingy to kind of help it hold its shape. It's kind of rubbery. But yes, so that was a second purchase from the RealReal. But in that being said, I wanted to show you another pair just for price sake. I want to say that these were on the RealReal. Please forgive me, because when I take these out, Riley steals the boxes and she makes them cars. My little inventor, like, she invents cars and trains. So as soon as I unbox it, she steals the box, throws out everything that was in the box, including receipts and whatever came in the bubble wrap, all of that stuff. I want to say these were $5.95 pre-owned, okay? I got this pair of Dior pumps. Now, these are Maria Grazia Chiuri. These are from the Morocco collection, I want to say. It doesn't say it on the bottom. It doesn't say what collection. I want to say Morocco. But it has an African toile de Jouy. I just want to show you, it's so pretty. But I got these from Neiman Marcus last call, brand new, and they were, I want to say, 30% off of $423. These were purchased out of season. These were purchased pre-owned, pre-loved, I should say. So I say that to say that sometimes shopping at the outlet stores are in fact cheaper than purchasing pre-loved. So if you're in a big city like this, or if you're coming on vacation, definitely have your RealReal list. But you know what? You may go to Last Call or Saks Off Fifth, We don't have a Dior outlet here. There's a Dior outlet in New York, Woodbury outlets, but we do have a Fendi outlet and a Gucci outlet and a Valentino outlet and a Prada outlet. And sometimes our outlets go deeper than pre-love. So that's why I wanted to bring these two on, because they're the same, from the same, not line, but you can see the bow there and the bow there. Can you see that bow? And so if you're someone that really enjoys the brand, and again, I got these because this was from, and I got them and I'm like, they are like such a collector's piece that I have not worn them yet, but I am gonna wear them. Anyway, so we've gotten through my talkie Professor Dean part of this video. Just want to show you like the pieces that you can get from the RealReal for a really great price, as well as, you know, the fact that you can get some from the outlet store. So now let's go into my notes to talk about selling tips. Okay, so let me preface this by saying that, or not even saying, let me give you a little bit of my bio before we get into this, because it says a lot to why I shop the way that I shop and how I shop the way that I shop. My undergraduate is in clothing. My undergraduate degree is in clothing, textiles, and merchandising. My master's is in cultural and educational policy studies. My doctoral degree, which I did not finish, I know, I talk about this all the time, the bane of my parents. They're like, why did you finish this doctorate? But it was in higher education administration. My master's certificate is in merchandising, fashion merchandising, and business. In my daily work, I am, of course, I do resell, but I am a fashion professor. I teach fashion entrepreneurship, fashion merchandising, fashion retailing. I work in the business of fashion. That's what I teach my students. I work primarily with designers who are trying to launch and need to understand the business side of fashion. So that's why I say sometimes I get in these videos and I'm like, fashion, although I talk fashion, like fashion is not my thing. Business is, right? I say all that to say, the first tip that I have for you when selling on the RealReal is do your research. I have to do research as a part of my vocation, as a part of my job. So I'm in the stores an inordinate amount of time. I'm always in Neiman's, always in Saks, always in Nordstrom, always at the outlets, because this is my work and I study business. I study retail. And so I'm always in the stores. I'm always reading articles, the business of fashion, WWD. I'm always seeing what the stores are doing on the business side, whether they're what's their markdown schedule, when are they getting receipts, what's new on the floors, what's selling, what's not selling, what are the trends I'm seeing in the marketplace, right? That being said, I'm always in the stores, so I'm always able to research. I'm always able to get in there and look at the different brands that are coming in, touch the bags, see the bags, you know, see what's going on in the store. So research for me is part, like I said, it's part of the job. When you're selling to the RealReal, you have to do some sort of research to know what brands are out there, so that when you're thrifting, because most if not all of the stuff that I'm sending to the RealReal, I'm thrifting. So go into the stores, go into Bloomingdale's, go into Saks, go into Neiman's, go to stores that sell RealReal product, and do some research. You don't necessarily have to own any of the stuff. Just know what it is, know what it looks like, know what the brands are, know what the labels look like. That's a huge thing, because sometimes like Theory's label has changed, down from Furstenberg label has changed, even Dior, Celine's label, they took the accent off the E. These labels change and the brands change, and you want to be aware of it so that when you're in the thrift stores, you know that that's a real brand. And I'm gonna leave, if I can find it, I'm gonna leave a link to brands that the RealReal accepts. Post what we're going through. I feel like they're being really lenient and taking brands that they didn't take before. But again, do your research. If you have these stores in your area, if you have the outlet stores in your area, if while you're on vacation, you're in a place that has a Saks and has names. I'm in South Florida, so when I say there's like a Saks within 10 minutes of wherever you are, in West Palm Beach, in Fort Lauderdale, in Miami, not 10 minutes, but we got a lot. We have an inordinate amount of luxury here in South Florida, right? So there's a lot of research that can be had here. So the first part, 3.5 minutes to say, do your research. Number 2, don't expect to get a lot from each piece that you're sending to the RealReal. I think people want to get into the RealReal because they hear those stories of I sourced something for $1 and it sold for $500. Does that happen? Yes. Is that every piece? No. When I sell to the RealReal, and that's how I afford my luxury, I think we've talked about this, but if you're new, I get the pieces that I send to the RealReal, when they sell, I leave it there, and it's like a little savings account for my luxury purchases, so I don't have to spend my own money. I typically, off of each piece, make 20 to 30, possibly $50 on pieces that I've sent there. I have a list of pieces that I've sent recently. Rebecca Minkoff, Chloe, Celine, Diane von Furstenberg, all the Diane von Furstenberg that I had in my Poshmark closet, I just sent it. It wasn't moving. Bailey 44, Terry John, Christian Louboutin. There's another brand. It's gonna come to you when this video ends. I know it at like 2 in the morning. There's another brand that I couldn't think of as I was making this list. They make dresses. Not Blank NYC, but there's another brand. It'll come to me. These are brands. Tory Burch I've sent to the RealReal. These pieces, typically, I'm only making, like I said, 20, 30, 40, possibly $50. And these are pieces that I have not really invested in. They've come from the bins. They've come from the thrift store. So I say that to say, sometimes you go to the thrift store and they have those items behind the counter and they're $20 or $30 and you're sending them to the RealReal. You may not see great profit. I tend to, again, send items that I've gotten at the bins for $1, $2, $5, and it's not really hurting my pocket to send it to them. Because again, that's like a little savings account for me. So if I make $100 a month, $200 a month off the RealReal, that's fine because it's sitting over there. I'm gonna let it sit and accrue. And when there's a final sale, I'm gonna go ahead and get my Antigona, okay? Third tip is to see if your item will sell on other platforms first. I know that's the opposite of what I always say, but some of the pieces, like Tory Burch, like Rebecca Minkoff, the Poshmark is a place to sell Tory Burch, is a place to sell Rebecca Minkoff, is a place to sell Diane von Furstenberg. My pieces didn't sell, so I sent them to the RealReal, but they do sell on the RealReal, on Poshmark. So try your hand on other platforms first, because you may actually make that money on Posh, and then if it doesn't sell on Posh, go ahead and send it to the RealReal. I think that's it. The biggest thing for me is don't expect to get a lot. Oh, the fourth tip, sorry, it's on here. There's a list, like I said, I'm gonna leave it there. There's a list, but in this current climate, sometimes they're taking more than what's on the list. So always reach out to somebody at the RealReal to see if there's an update, or when you go into the system to create your packing list, somebody will typically reach out to you. I say that because that's the way it used to be. I've had the same person for some time, but that's the way it used to be. Again, sometimes they're taking things that are not on the list. If you do your research and you know that it's something that's Neiman, Saks, Bloomingdale's worthy, right? Bergdorf's worthy, Nordstrom worthy, send it, and sometimes they'll take it. If not, they'll send it back to you. But again, something's going on at the RealReal, because they're taking a lot of stuff that they didn't take before. All right. So I hope that was good. If I think of any more tips, I'll definitely do another video. But I think the biggest thing that I want you to take away from this is do your research. Do your research, do your research, do your research. Sometimes you're gonna send something, and the same goes with Poshmark. Sometimes you're gonna get something like, this is fire, this is amazing, this is gonna sell. And you're like, why did that only sell for $50? And why am I only getting $30 from this sale? So do your research, do your research, do your research. If you're looking at it as an income stream, I'm not that girl. That's not why I look to the RealReal. So if this wasn't helpful for you in that aspect, it is what it is. But for me, finding something at the thrift store and sending it away and having that build up so that when you see that luxury piece that you've always wanted, you're not having to come out your pocket for it. To me, that's a win-win. So I pray this was a blessing to you. If you have any questions about fashion, let me know. I did start to do the lab, but then the fashion professor in me was just trying to do too much with it. And I stopped. But If you find this information beneficial and you want more fashion knowledge, please let me know in the comments and I will figure out a way to get this fashion knowledge to you, because again, I am a business of fashion professor. So I'm always looking at the business side, not necessarily the fashion, but I understand that because of my vocation, I do have a little bit more insight into fashion. Does that make sense? All right, long enough video. Let me find something to go do so that I can actually go and wear these fabulous pieces. Let me call up a girlfriend, see if she wants to go to lunch or something. Talk to you soon. Bye.